Guys, we're back with the sequel to the last video where we had the panel for the ladies on the Peach JR. Go ahead, there'll be a card at the top here for the link to the previous video. But this is part two of what women bring to the table, and they're doing it's the second part of them reacting to a reaction of another video. Again, I'm not posting that video because that part of the video because it just looks, it's too meta for me. It seems unnecessary. But you can go ahead and check out the Peep JR because these ladies do definitely have some high level conversations. And like I said the last time, it looks like there was some stuff that was missing that I was expecting them to get to because again, YouTube talking points, everybody loves to talk about this stuff. So let's jump right in and get it going.
Hurt to be an educated woman if you're dealing with an educated man. I just wouldn't put it at the top of the list like something I'm gonna boast about on the first date, because I don't think that it matters to them as much as it matters, just not as a what's the word? It's not a
like a priority or
a priority. It shouldn't be like the first.
She's right. Yeah, it's not. Beauty, yeah, number one
thing. Like it's nothing that's gonna put you at the front of the line if that's what you're trying to do over another person.
I'm mistaken. I think you said something interesting about this humbling process that happens a lot over social media. And as you're kind of breaking down the stats, I'm now curious because I think we all know this.
Why do I get the feeling the humbling experience she's talking about is the gender war? The gender war is dumb.
School to pipeline, the school to prison pipeline system. We all know young Black men, the challenges and struggles that they face, the lack of support in their education. And so the numbers just make sense that women have more of these opportunities. There's more grants, there's more encouragement, with single mothers empowering their daughters. There's this push, right? And even with people who are single mothers, like there's this push to provide for their children, right? Is it, and like this isn't like about it being a feminist conversation, but just like a real conversation. Is it like a toe-to-toe out of lack? Is it like a jealousy thing, a lack of opportunity thing, just like a lack mindset of I don't have this, and so it doesn't mean anything because you have it?
I would agree with that because what?
Wait, what? Okay, I again, this is Inez is leaving me dumb. I literally am lost as what she just talked about. Maybe I missed part of the video. This is a clip, by the way. So if you, I may have to go guys, go check out the original version of this live stream. Maybe this will be better context because that made no sense. I don't know.
What I find is, Mistaken and I, we go to the streets and we don't mind asking people that we know who would fit the category of people would consider them the desired guy, and most of the guys who we met who are educated want a woman who is educated. Not one stated that they did not want a woman. We've heard Trill say it. We've heard the men on his panel who have stated they want educated women. So I agree with what you're saying. It just depends on, and it's not even that. What I like, people like minds. Put it that way. So if you're into education, let's take away the desire. If you are into education, you more than likely will want a spouse who is also into education. If it doesn't matter to you, then you may want a spouse who it doesn't matter to. It's just about compatibility. Everybody is not for you. This woman just was not for him. And I do agree that you shouldn't boast about it because he's right. That's not something you come on a dinner table and you're like, well, I have this, and this. A guy's looking like, well, that's not going to put you to the forefront of being like, ooh, she's got all of this, So I agree that men totally date different than women do. They don't look for that when you're going on a date initially. But it certainly does not hurt to be an educated woman if you're dealing with an educated man. I just wouldn't put it at the top of the list like something I'm gonna boast about on the first date, because I don't think that it matters to them as much as it matters, just not as a what's the word? It's not
like a priority or
a priority. It shouldn't be like the first thing. Like it's nothing that's gonna put you at the front of the line if that's what you're trying to do over another person. You know, there are other things that they look for first. They're into beauty first, and everything else after that. That's just universal. But one of the things that stood out to me that I noticed in this particular video, because one of the guys was like, "Well, I see nothing wrong." It was like he came back after her, but the difference was she was saying, what does she bring to the table? And while you may not like what she brings to the table, she never once degraded a Black man.
Mm-hmm.
She never once called him out of his name. She just stated what she brought to the table.
Okay, so yeah, guys, go back and watch that video. In my opinion, the woman that they're talking about, yeah, she didn't. It's exactly how Shan said it is. The problem is that she came off as condescending. Yeah, if we're getting to know each other and you come off as condescending, most guys, that's an immediate turnoff. Well, let me put it this way, ladies, the ladies who are watching this, the guy that you want, that comes off as condescending, and he's just gonna more than likely, he's probably put you in the sex only category. Because if he starts to feel like you're looking down on him, you just became a conquest of his, and once that's over with, he's gonna be out of there. He's not gonna take you serious. So, I mean, I agree with what she said so far as it depends on when you want to say that stuff. You know, discovery always trumps disclosure. So let's keep that in mind. But let's keep going.
But when he came back with his rebuttal, he decided it was an opportunity to try to put, like Mistaken said, put Black women in their place. Oh, you ain't pretty much, so to speak. And that's the difference in arguments. Whenever
Buddy scenario though is he never said that. He only thing he did was refute the claims that she made about the statistics. And if you go back to that previous video again, Mistaken addressed those things. Some of them were wrong, some of them were right, but you know, that's the way it goes with statistics, especially when you're recording stuff. So
whenever you have to belittle somebody in the middle of your argument, that means you have not won. You that to me is automatic, just an issue for me. But that's just.
Do you think it that the whole kind of like what you were saying, piggybacking off of what you were saying, Inez, about the that humbling process, do you think that the education thing and the financial thing typically said, like men that say it doesn't matter to them, or your degrees don't matter, is that comes from, like, if I know as a man I'm coming to the table and you may have a degree and I don't, that degree is going to mean less to me because I don't have? Or is it that regardless across the board, if the man has education or not, that they don't consider the fact that she's educated as any part of something that's extra that she's bringing to the table?
No,
okay, you know, I've said this before, and the main reason why men don't care is because we know that most women would prefer the guy to be the breadwinner, right? So in that instance, how do your degrees, how does your career, how does your income help the guy do that? Most cases it doesn't. That's why we don't care. It doesn't help us get what we want. So I mean, that's like a guy who's talking about his shoe collection. I got, like, I'm up to about 15 different Jordans. I got them clean. They're all in the shoebox. They look brand new. Never laced them up. Never worn them. Most women will be like, oh, okay. That's exactly how most men feel about your career. Hey, that's cool for you, but it doesn't benefit me. So why should I care about that?
I think that's a great question. I think when I hear a lot of these topics and like this put down of Black women in general, whether it's financial or education, skin tone, body shape, whatever, I hear a lot of like internalized misogynoir, like this combination of racism and misogyny kind of mixed in together, this constant put down of taking away Black women in terms of their femininity, in terms of what they bring to the table, in terms of how they show it. It's this constant put down from larger society that then shows up in Black men as well, right? So I think regardless of the topic, you're going to hear somebody in the manosphere talking something about Black women. And it's unfortunate that so many people take what greater society says and take that on in and of themselves and then project it onto the people at the bottom of the totem pole.
Okay. Man, this video, I'm gonna have to cut this one short because it's like, again, it's citing the gender war, which is dumb. But the real question is that because what she just said is everybody's dumping on Black women. I mean, you can call that persecution, but those are bad choice of words. My question would be, if the whole world is telling you this stuff, and what's the tipping point to start saying that, you know what, with some of this stuff might be true, we need to start working on this. I mean, we had to bite the bullet as Black men. You know, we were underemployed. A big percent of the Black male population was in prison. We had this stereotype of being lazy. We had to fix that. Nobody was going to do it for us. We couldn't wait on other people. We had to go improve our image. We had to change it ourselves, to the point where, over 50% of Black men are in the middle class. Less than, or 94% of Black men are not in prison. It's only 6% that are in prison, despite the stereotype. So again, we had to work on our image. But again, and it's not to say that everything's fixed, because no, we still have problems, right? But again, this is why I say the purpose of this channel is because we need more average men who are speaking up and speaking to the lives and the goals that we have for our families, right? But, it's obvious they're talking about Black women as an image, because Black women do have an image problem. Do I think that the majority of Black women are in a negative spot or have things wrong with them? No, I don't think it's bad as people make it out to be. But there's still an image problem there. And again, you can't expect the world to change their perception of you. You have to change it yourself. So Black women need to get together. I mean, but again, that would probably be the importance of having channels like this, because Lapeef Jr. is not a woman. He's a guy. So the fact that he is lending his platform to give women a chance to, to talk about their issues. I find it ironic, though, that I've yet to see a video of them talking about Black women's image. It might be there. I just haven't seen it yet. I mean, I will keep looking, because that's a definite conversation that I think that needs to be had. Because again, she was just talking about that, about, society is dumping on Black women and their image, or I was just talking about it. I can't remember at this point, but we're going to get back into the video because I'm starting to forget what they were talking about, which means I'm getting off topic. Let's get back.
Society wise, right? It sounds really bitter, if I'm going to speak plainly. It sounds like a grasp to maintain control, that if I can put you down and you still come back to me, then like I have a certain level of hierarchy in this relationship. It's a little weird. It's
actually interesting to hear her say that, because men in general have been dealing that for probably about the last 30 or 40 years. Black men in particular. I mean, that's really interesting to hear her say that, but okay.
a little weird.
I think a lot of men who kind of speak like that for sure are just insecure in some aspect of their life, whether it's financial or just them being.
Here we go. That's inside the gender war. Oh boy, this is all right, let's hear what she got to say. She started with an insult. Insecure. Small dick energy.
Being the man who they think they're supposed to be, or mentally, spiritually, something is missing in there. And when a woman kind of comes and is boastful and just saying all the things that she does and has, and it punches them in that wherever the insecurity is in him. And so to make, like you said, to make himself feel better, he'll say things to kind of try to put her down or put her back into her place.
The major problem I have with what she just said is that nobody likes boastful people. Men don't like women who are boastful. Women don't like men who are boastful. But why are we talking about that as if it's only one way? We're trying to keep the gender war going? Is that what we're doing?
And I think even the conversation of what you bring to the table is a conversation like men typically pursue women, right? So it's like, first of all, sir, you have to have your table and then know what you're looking for to put on your table. Like shouldn't ask somebody what they're providing. You are looking to finish putting the places, on your table. So if you don't even know what you're looking for, to ask her what she provides is like, what are you doing? Why are you even talking?
Okay, so I want to address this now because this is, again, a popular YouTube talking point and we got to start breaking this down. Why do men ask, well, what do you bring to the table? Okay, well, the table is obviously a metaphor for the relationship. You want to know why guys ask that? Because they don't want to waste their time. You're obviously attractive, that's why the guy's talking to you. But the real reason why he's asking that is because he wants to know, outside of your beauty and sex, what else is there? Direct question, but a lot of times women tend not to know how to answer it. And again, guys come up with this because we don't want to waste our time. It's like, if all you can offer me is your good looks and sex, that's going to be cool. They're asking if I'm going to put her in the short-term category. I'm going to put her in the short-term category, or could there be something more here? Yeah, I have yet to see a panel of women actually peel back the layers and actually break that down. Most of them just get frustrated and don't want to answer it. Number one, don't want to answer the question. Number two, you use some kind of shaming language or an insult to as a response to the question. But gender war, like I said, are we trying to end it or are we trying to keep it going? I don't know. Starting to sound well. Let's go.
Talking to her if you didn't feel like she filled those spots in that you were looking to fill. So, I don't know. This conversation is.
So do you think that men, okay, and I know some women get upset even when a man be like, so what do you bring to the table? I know some women that are just like, oh, when I hear that, I just want to cringe. But
I'd love to hear why they cringe.
In taking it for what it is that I guess they're asking. And you, like in that situation, she's explaining, this is what I bring to the table. So do you think that men are genuine when they're asking what you're bringing to the table? Or do you already think that they have an agenda of what it is they're looking for? And instead of asking that, they don't ask that directly?
I think that
I still stand by my answer, and it is what we're looking for. Because again, if women, we want to be the head of the household, we want to lead a relationship, and a lot of times women want us to lead. Okay, well, if I'm lead, I got to know what I'm working with, and instead of just taking months of spending months of time of taking you out of paying for dates, no, let's go ahead and talk about this now. A lot of times, what happens is that women don't like that question because it tends to get to the point quicker, and they would rather spend they'd rather have the option of the freedom to get to know you first. Because remember, men are looking for reasons to qualify you. Hence, what do you bring to the table? That lines up with what I said before. Women oftentimes are looking for a reason to disqualify you. That's a lot of times why women have an issue if you remove the power for them to disqualify you. If you start taking that away, women usually tend to take offense to that. It's really just a power dynamic. But again, why is it from a woman's standpoint? I don't understand that, because at the end of the day, like I said, you want the guy to be the leader. Then you have to give up some control, some power to him anyway. Otherwise he's not the leader in the relationship. You are. So, yeah. Let's keep going.
Let me just say this before you even get into that. If I were on a date with her, it's the way the approach is very unattractive. If I were a dude, I wouldn't have gotten excited about that either. Okay, I think it's about just being humble. Just chill. It'll come out that you have a degree. It'll come out that you have all of these things. I think that there's a cockiness that kind of comes with it, a little ego maybe that comes with it, that may be a little turn off. So if she were more ladylike,
condescending, remember? Yeah.
And then it comes up like, oh, where have you studied? Oh, I've studied in men aren't really turned on by, oh yeah, and I got this and I got that and I got this and that and that. They're more like, if it comes up in conversation, you just bring it out.
I said this before, discovery trumps disclosure. It's a great quote by a wise man. But it literally, and this also applies to women. You could definitely use that to your advantage. If a guy hasn't asked if you can cook, surprise him by cooking him a meal. If you know you can throw down in the kitchen, don't tell him that. Let him find out through you cooking. I'm telling you, it magnifies his response or the surprise, and be like, oh my God, she cooked so good. Yeah, I'm telling you, this works. So, and same thing for the guys too. No woman wants a guy who goes around bragging about how much money he makes at his job. No, if she asks what you do for a living, okay, tell her, leave it there. And we gotta have the but I've already explained how I feel about salary. I don't think it's a good judge of how you're doing with your finances, but it does for women. It's a big cue in lifestyle. It's also a big reveal. It's a big discovery about ambition, and that is one of the attraction triggers for women. So, but look, this is definitely this has elements of a high-level conversation. I can't say whether or not the ladies actually got there, but it did give us a lot of talking points for us to break down. And that being said, I may end up using this video as a reference, because again, we've got these YouTube talking points that are perpetuating agenda war. If we don't start breaking this stuff down, it's never going to end. So, but we're gonna leave it here. I'm gonna say ghost to the next time. Peace. Thanks for making it to the end of this video, but do me another favor, like and subscribe, but also check out these here. Either subscribe or watch videos, one or the other. I don't know which side, but hey, all right.